Nothing But the Truth. Hello, I'm Raj Chengappa from India Today and your host for Nothing But the Truth. Every week, we will deal with key issues of concern and bring you perspectives and clarity as to why these matter to you and what is the clear truth that emerges. The politician-criminal nexus is well entrenched in most states across the country and has always been difficult to break. But nowhere is that nexus more evident than in Uttar Pradesh. The state has had a long history of ganglord politicians that ruled their fiefdoms with guns and threats being an essential part of their arsenal. But recently, the nation was shocked by the murder of Atiq Ahmed, Uttar Pradesh's dreaded ganglord politician, while he was being interviewed by the press on live television. 3 gun-toting youngsters, posing as part of the media, took out pistols and shot Atiq in the temple at point-blank range and pumped multiple bullets into him and his brother Ashraf, who had been handcuffed along with him. The posse of Uttar Pradesh policemen, in whose custody these were in, reacted only when the gunmen said they were surrendering and laid down their weapons. The murder happened in the midst of a major crackdown on the Mafia in the state, launched by the Chief Minister, Yogi Adityanath, and which was widely popular. But the brazen and reprehensible way Atiq Ahmed was gunned down when he was in police custody threatened to discredit that drive. So in this episode of Nothing But the Truth, we will analyze how the criminal-politician nexus flourished in Uttar Pradesh, how successful Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's drive against the Mafia has been so far, and the impact that the Atiq Ahmed murder will have on it, and what are the key concerns that need to be addressed. First, let's look more closely at the life and crimes of Atiq Ahmed and why he exemplified the entrenched criminal political nexus in the state that Yogi Adityanath has been trying to root out. In the Badlands of Uttar Pradesh, there was no contesting that Atiq Ahmed, with his characteristic handlebar moustache, was Don number 1. With as many as 101 criminal cases logged against him, he evoked intense fear among people in and around Prayagraj, formerly as we know as Allahabad, for over 4 decades. Born in 1962 to a life of poverty, Atiq took to crime early and by 25 was an established gang lord in Prayagraj. Interestingly, while he was ascending rapidly on the criminal ladder, so was his political career. In 1989, he won the first of his 5 MLA terms as an independent candidate from Allahabad West constituency. The same year, Atiq Ahmed is alleged to have killed Chand Baba or Shaun Ilahi, the Don of Allahabad, in a gruesome gang war in the city's Chowk area. Atiq took over Chand Baba's fiefdom and then went on to spread his tentacles far and wide in the state. His political career too blossomed, and he retained his Allahabad West seat in the 1991 and 1993 Assembly elections as an independent candidate, and in 1996, after joining the Samajwadi Party, or the SP, he won that as well. He then switched to the Apna Dal Party soon after and won the assembly seat in the 2002 elections. He rejoined the Samajwadi Party and contested the 2004 Lok Sabha seat from Phulpur and won it. It was in 2005 that Atiq Ahmed and his gangmen gunned down Raju Pal, a Bahujan Samaj Party or BSP MLA who had defeated his younger brother Ashraf in the Allahabad seat vacated by him. That killing would ultimately prove Atiq's nemesis. Though he was charged with that killing, Atiq continued as a politician, rejoining the Apna Dal and even serving as its president, apart from contesting the Lok Sabha elections in 2009, which he lost. Even as an under trial, he continued to run his criminal empire from prison, committing several real estate extortions. The judicial system, too, seemed to buckle under his pressure, with almost 10 judges reportedly recusing themselves from his cases and even witnesses being threatened into silence. Till that time, Atiq Ahmed straddled the world of crime and politics and the state machinery seemed unable or unwilling to take him on and bring him to justice. It was only in 2017 when Yogi Adityanath became the surprise chief minister after the BJP won the UP assembly elections handsomely that Atiq Ahmed and other gangsters began to feel the heat. Yogi was a saffron-clad monk turned politician and had been a 5-term member of the Lok Sabha. One of his major tasks as chief minister would be to restore the primacy of law and order. Soon after he was sworn in as chief minister, he announced that he would have zero tolerance for criminal activity in the state. The state police were given a free hand to deal with dreaded criminals. The police employed controversial means, including encounter killings of defiant criminals. They also used bulldozers to demolish buildings owned by the Mafia, claiming that these were made from ill-gotten gains and had violated building norms. The UP police walked the very edge of the law and came under criticism from human rights activists who accused them of being trigger-happy. But Yogi's strong-arm tactics won him popular support. One of the main reasons that the BJP came to power in the state in the 2022 assembly elections was because Yogi's administration was perceived to have brought about a huge improvement in the state's law and order situation. In his second term as chief minister, Yogi Adityanath focused on the economic development of the state and sought huge private sector investments to set up industrial units in the state. One of his major assurances to industry and to investors was that the law and order situation in the state would be peaceful and that criminals would not have a free run. So Yogi Adityanath put into motion an overhaul of the entire police force, the judicial system, and the state administration. The chief minister got the police to draw up a list of 66 top mafia lords across the state, including Atiq Ahmed. Detailed dossiers were then prepared of these criminals, detailing all their cases and homing in on the ones that could lead to speedy prosecution. Then the chief minister asked his team to go into why the legal machinery was not functioning effectively to bring these dons to justice. Many of the dons had over 100 criminal cases registered against them for several decades, but had never been prosecuted for them. The findings were not surprising to those who were investigating this, and Ashutosh Pandey, the Additional Director General of Police in UP, told India Today, and I quote him, "Earlier, mafia lords got acquitted because of weaknesses in the framing of charges. They always managed to influence that procedure. Before the court started any trial, their lawyers made routine excuses to delay the process, giving the aides enough time to influence witnesses." And I close quote. So the chief minister then revamped the state's legal system. The whole prosecution process was cranked into action to ensure framing of charges, protection to witnesses, fast-tracking hearings, and speedy conviction. Public prosecutors who were inefficient were transferred and replaced with those willing to go the extra mile to ensure that they could secure convictions. Judges who had dragged their feet on many of these cases found themselves being shunted out and replaced by tougher ones with a clear mandate to bring cases to their logical conclusion. As a result of this tremendous focus, some 18 gangland big dons were convicted in the past year alone. Atiq Ahmed was one of them. His conviction on March 28 this year for the 2006 kidnapping of Umesh Pal was his first ever in a career of crime that spanned 4 decades. Umesh Pal was the key witness in the sensational 2005 murder of Allahabad West MLA Raju that I had referred to earlier. Before his conviction in March, Atiq Ahmed made a huge mistake when he had Umesh Pal brutally gunned down near his house in Prayagraj on February 24th. This killing was alleged to have been done by his gang led by his son Asad Ahmed. They had also killed 2 policemen who were guarding Umesh Pal. That was when Yogi Adityanath went ballistic, telling members of the UP Assembly that he would grind the criminals behind the killers to dust. The Hindi words he used was, "Mafia ko mitti mein mila denge." The state put a rupees 5 lakh bounty on Asad's head and ordered him to surrender. When he didn't, Asad and his accomplice were hunted down and killed by the police in an encounter in Jhansi when he allegedly opened fire on the posse. 4 days later, Atiq Ahmed and his brother Ashraf were gunned down by shooters while in police custody on April 16th. For Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, the brazen killing of Atiq Ahmed came in for major criticism from the opposition, who accused him of brushing aside the rule of law and using jungle justice. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said, and I quote her, "Encounters have become the new normal in Uttar Pradesh. The Supreme Court should take cognizance of this extremely worrying situation." Former UP Chief Minister Mayawati said, and I quote, "Uttar Pradesh has become Encounter Pradesh." Another former UP Chief Minister, Akhilesh Yadav, and I'm quoting him, said, "When someone can be killed in firing openly, and that too with a security cordon around them, then what about the safety of the general public?" Many experts saw the way Atiq Ahmed was killed as a setback to the Chief Minister's drive. Yogi had one of UP's big dons pinned to the wall, with the courts finally convicting him, and that was significant. But the fact that Atiq was in police custody when he was killed, and that the state force was clearly lax in doing its duty, was not a badge of honor for the police or for him. Also, that Atiq was killed by a scrappy trio shouting Jai Shri Ram slogans after the murder. By association, this could color his whole mafia crackdown in communal undertones that the Chief Minister was trying to avoid. It may heighten the feelings of insecurity among the Muslim community in the state, just when Yogi and his party, the BJP, were attempting to woo them with their development programs. Conscious of that charge, the Chief Minister took extra care to ensure Atiq's killings had no cascading effect. Section 144 was clamped on the whole state, and Prayagraj saw the internet being suspended to minimize any possible blowback. 5 of the policemen that guarded Atiq were suspended. To ensure that the investigation is not compromised in any way, multiple committees were formed. One is a 3-member judicial committee to probe the killing, headed by retired Allahabad High Court Judge Arvind Kumar Tripathi, and included retired Judge Brijesh Kumar Soni and former Director General of Police S.K. Singh. Then the UP Police announced the formation of 2 special investigation teams, the first headed by an additional DCP crime, Satish Chandra, who will probe the murder itself, and the second headed by 2 top police officers and a forensics labs director who will monitor their work. To his credit, the statistics reveal that Yogi's iron fist against crime is more even-handed. Around 32% of the 183 criminals killed in police encounters since he took charge were Muslims. And among the 66 of the most wanted dons that the state police identified, only 12 were from the Muslim community. The rest are Hindus from various caste groups, including the Chief Minister's own caste. Prashant Kumar, Additional Director General of Law and Order for the state, told India Today magazine, and I quote, "Our actions were religion neutral, region neutral, and caste neutral." Close quotes. Other officials point out that the Chief Minister has come down equally hard on Hindu dons. They cite the example of the July 2020 encounter of Kanpur gangster Vikas Dubey, which cost the lives of 8 policemen. Yogi's critics allege that there is discrimination based on caste considerations, implying that the Chief Minister was softer on those belonging to his Thakur caste. They point to Brijesh Singh, the dreaded don of Purvanchal, and Dhananjay Singh, the ex-MP from Jaunpur, who they claim have not been meted speedy justice. Yogi's officials brush aside such criticism, saying that the Chief Minister goes after all dons with equal measure and force. To the credit of the Chief Minister, he has worked towards a more inclusive approach to governance. Last July, responding to the controversy over azan at mosques, he ordered loudspeakers removed or their volumes lowered from all religious places. In fact, loudspeakers were removed from thousands of temples, mosques, and other religious places in the state. And during Ram Navami and Hanuman Jayanti last year, many other states reported violence, but strict permission norms ensured that UP remained peaceful. 3 days after Atiq Ahmed was gunned down, Yogi Adityanath, speaking at a public function, made what was seen as an indirect reference to the incident. He declared, "Now professional criminals or the mafia cannot threaten anybody." Before 2017, the law and order situation in Uttar Pradesh was bad and the state was infamous for riots. There has been no riots in the past 6 years. Earlier, the state faced a crisis of identity. Now, criminals face a crisis of identity in the state. And then he went on to declare the rule of law prevails in the state. To ensure that the rule of law continues to prevail, the chief minister needs to get his team to make sure that not only do the 3 youngsters who killed Atiq get the maximum penal punishment, but also those who commissioned the hit job. Many experienced UP observers hint at vested interests who could have wanted Atiq neutralized. It is well known that Atiq had dealings across the party spectrum apart from sections of the administration and was a threat to them if he spoke out in jail. So the onus now lies on the chief minister and the UP administration to ensure that the rule of law and the principles of justice in the state prevail and remain supreme. For an in-depth report on the gangs of UP and the aftermath of the Atiq Ahmed murder, do read the cover story in India Today, written by my colleague Prashant Srivastava, who is based in Uttar Pradesh. Thank you for listening to this episode of Nothing But the Truth. I look forward to having you with me the next week. Nothing but the truth.